Alright, hey guys, James again from Zeitgeist, and in this tutorial video, we're going to show you how to create your own market. That's right, you can use Zeitgeist to create your own prediction markets, create your own predictions, and get insight for yourself, for your company, for your sporting community, whatever it may be. You can use Zeitgeist to create your own prediction markets. We're going to show you how to do that, and we start, as always, by heading on over to app.zeitgeist.pm. Now, you're going to notice from the last time that I recorded a tutorial, I have some more Zeitgeist in my wallet because I needed more Zeitgeist to create this market, because there is a minimum amount if you want to deploy a liquidity pool, which is advisable. If you want your market to be active and to be traded, then it's advisable to actually deploy a liquidity pool. And there are a number of nuances involved with our liquidity pools, and trying to get the correct automated market maker model in prediction markets is no easy task. It's a gargantuan mathematical challenge, and it's something that our tech team have been working extremely hard on since they first started creating Zeitgeist. So we're going way back to last year's Kusama Derby, which was of course our testnet campaign, then our beta net, which was a little bit earlier this year, 2022, with the beta app. We also had a number of AMM models that were deployed and were experimented with. And now that we're live on chain, we are continuing to evolve how these automated market maker models work. And if you want to find out more, you can check out the blog post, the Rakido scoring rule, and there is an interesting conversation going on at the moment. We appreciate a big shout out to Alice and Bob. I'm going to leave it, I'm not going to dox the man, Alice and Bob on Twitter, who's been discussing with us about a number of different AMM models as well. So if you want to find out more, then read that blog post, and it's important to understand that before we get into deploying our own liquidity into a prediction market. But let's go ahead and start to create a prediction market. It's really not too difficult at all. All you gotta do is head on over to Create Market, and I'm gonna do one about the Cricket World Cup. Being a South African, the Cricket World Cup is coming up, the T20 Cricket World Cup, so that's 20 overs aside. It's a shorter format of cricket, and we're going to create a prediction market about who's gonna win that Cricket World Cup. So this will act as the title for when having a quick glance at which market these assets come from. On the homepage, there's a little section for the titles as well. So this will be your quick title to glance over what the name of the market is and what it's about. But we're just going to keep this nice and short. We're going to call it Cricket World Cup 2020. We'll start 2020 Cricket WC. All right. And the question is, who will win the men's T20 Cricket World Cup? And we're going to go 2022 Men's Cricket World Cup. It's a sport market. It is also a cricket market. So we'll use those two. We also need to get ourselves a profile picture here. So I'm just going to hit images very quickly and go T20 Cricket World Cup. We could just go cricket. Might be kind of cool to show a sort of cricket bat. That one looks really cool, but it is from iStock Photo. So you do want to keep in mind the sort of usage rights of these images that you're using. Let's do this. Let's make it really simple. Let's go cricket bat illustration. And there we go. I think we could use that. Cricket bats, that's Shutterstock, iStock Photo again. Really not making life easy for us here. Vecteezy, there we go. That'll work for us. I'll just drag him onto my desktop there. I call this, rename it to T20 Cricket World Cup Market. There we go. And we come back over here and we add it in. Now it does need to be less than 100 KB. And this might be, it is less than 100 KB, fantastic. Okay, so the end date, I know the Cricket World Cup, T20 Cricket World Cup final is the 13th of November. An important thing to note here is that you don't want to end the market too early between your market ending and the final outcome result, because we provide 4 days for the Oracle to submit the final result and the final outcome. And if the Oracle does not submit the result 4 days after the market has ended, they will forfeit their 200 ZTG Oracle bond. And so especially if you as the market creator are acting as the Oracle as well, you don't want to be ending your market 4 days before you can submit a result. So for instance, the ICC T20 World Cup, I don't want to be ending the market 5 days or more before the actual final, right, between the two finalists, because otherwise I won't be able to submit my answer and the final outcome result on time. So I need to make sure there is a 4-day period between the market ending and the actual result can be determined. So in this case, the final of the ICC T20 Men's Cricket World Cup is happening on the 13th of November. So I make sure that I end this market on the 9th of November. So I have those two variables in place. The one being that I'm not making it too obvious for predictors to come in and make easy predictions after the semi-finals by ending the market 4 days before the final, but also I'm giving myself the 4 days to submit the final outcome results. And 11:59 p.m. There we go. It's an options market because there are a number of different outcomes, not just binary yes, no. So the favorites will be Australia. And I'm gonna, now remember, every time you create a market, you need to create assets for each outcome, okay? And each asset needs to have a ticker code. So you're in essence creating crypto assets here. When you create crypto assets, it's important that you allocate a wise and logical ticker code, because there's going to be so many assets. I mean, so for the FIFA World Cup, there's already countries taken. ENG is already taken. So I can't use ING here. I would need to use ING-W. And we also need to think of the Cricket World Cup. So I think I'm just going to go with the country code, then CW, Cricket World Cup, maybe CWC. Let's try that. Let's go CWC Oz. That's what we'll do. We'll go and we'll start with Oz, CW, and then end with CWC. And we'll go with a color related to the Australian cricket team. South Africa, it's a little bit ZA, CWC. South Africa maybe shouldn't be second, but as a South African resident, I think it's fair. There's a lot of colors here, so I really need to think about this, because South Africa are one of the many green countries. There's Bangladesh as well. India, probably the biggest favorites. Should probably copy CWC to make my life easier. India, sort of, that's their color. West Indies, they're like pink, so we'll go WI, CWC. They're sort of pinky color. Pinky red, sort of there, yeah. Sri Lanka, Pakistan, England. Let's go England. So we're going to go ING, CWC, and again a lighter sort of blue there. New Zealand, very strong favorites, very much so. Everyone. Let's go Pakistan. Come back to green, PAK. So all of these things you need to keep in mind. Pakistan, that's a good color for them. Then Sri Lanka, another blue one. Let's see, New Zealand rather. New Zealand, NZ. My Z key, doing typical Apple things. Sri Lanka, another one. Do Bangladesh, another green one. Ban, CWC. Dark green there, it's too similar to South Africa, isn't it? Come across into the yellows. Across into the blues, no. Into the yellows a little bit more. And who have we missed? Sri Lanka, another blue color. Do I have New Zealand in there? I do indeed. All right. And then other, of course. So what is a color that we don't really have much of? A nice bright red. So obviously you need to make sure that you have catered for an unlikely outcome. Otherwise no one wins. So you want to make sure that an unlikely outcome is catered for. I mean, we could offer every single option here, but there are a number of teams playing, and it would become too much. So the oracle I'm going to make is myself. I'll just copy and paste my ZTG address from my wallet. That means it's important that I report the correct answer. It's important that I do that before a resolution time, etc. So it's really important that whoever is designated as the oracle does their job. And obviously on chain that can be automated, but they need to be reading correct source data, etc. Now, the other thing is a market description. Make sure you explain this well, the end date, etc. And where is your source of finality and your source of answer coming from? So we're going to go a prediction market to give insights into who will win the ICC, the 2022 ICC men's cricket, men's T20 cricket World Cup. The market will end right before the semi-final stage, so as to give more opportunity for predictions. The oracle shall source the answer from www.espncricinfo.com. Let's just double check that URL works. Very happy it does indeed, so we're happy with that. Source the answer. In the highly unlikely event that the trophy is shared by the two finalists, the outcome other shall be deemed as the winning token. Now remember, whatever asset is the winning asset, however many assets are held by the winners, they will get 1 ZTG per winning asset that they hold. It's important to remember. So a permissionless one, you can hit advised, in which case you need to talk it through. You may want to talk it through on Discord. We have a markets creation section on Discord. We are going to deploy liquidity to this pool. Now, it's important to understand this part of deploying liquidity. If it's a permissionless market and you are deploying the liquidity instead of drawing on our committee to draw on the various liquidity providers that we have at our disposal, then you're going to need to deploy a fair amount of liquidity to make this market usable and efficient. Now, because we have 10 different assets here, 10 different outcome tokens, it's splitting the price of each asset by 10. So we're taking 1 ZTG, dividing it by 10, and you'll see each asset is worth 0.1 ZTG. Now, you can then deploy a certain amount of assets. You are minting a certain amount of outcome tokens. And the more you mint, the better for the market and the more efficient this market will be. So you could deploy 500 assets of each, and it's going to be equal, but that's going to cost you a fair amount more because each one is 0.1 ZTG. So it's showing you it's going to cost you 50 ZTG per asset. And so just for the sake of costs, we're going to create 100 of each, which means that this market might get a little bit limited because a lot of the tokens may be bought up. But just for the sake of costs in this specific instance, we're going to create 100 assets per outcome token. And then you have the other side, which is the ZTG side. You have the counter pair. Obviously, our markets are denominated in ZTG at the moment. We hope to introduce other cryptocurrencies in the future. But for now, all markets are denominated in ZTG. So that means if you buy an outcome asset, you're doing it with ZTG. If you sell an outcome asset, you will get ZTG in return for that sale. So you need to deploy the counter pair, being ZTG, to this liquidity pool. And so that needs to be a minimum of 100 ZTG. So you need a minimum of 100 ZTG for all of your outcome assets. So it's 100 divided by 10. You can see there, because it's 10 ZTG per outcome asset, and then 100 ZTG. So I hope you're following there. It's a minimum of 200 ZTG just to create the liquidity pool, but then there are some other costs involved. All right, you won't be able to create the market yet, so you need to understand the various costs here. So the liquidity, we'll start with the liquidity. As I've just explained, you're deploying 200 ZTG in this specific instance, 100 actual ZTG tokens, actual Zeitgeist tokens for the counter pair. Then the other 100 ZTG is being used to mint the other outcome tokens. 10 times 10 equals 100, gives you a total of 200 ZTG. That's the liquidity you're deploying to the market. There is a bond as the Oracle to ensure that oracles report the outcome on time. So we're putting that forward and making sure that people and oracles are reporting accurately, and that's returned. The 200 ZTG is returned. Also, there is a permissionless bond. We need to make sure that we have fair markets, we have good-natured markets that are deployed on Zeitgeist. And so there is a slight cost to entry here, which is 1,000 ZTG bond, which is put forward as a permissionless market creator. You are putting forward 1,000 ZTG bond saying, you know what, I do believe this is a fair market. There is the outside chance that you put forward a nefarious, crude market, something like involving an assassination or something rather crude that is probably best not to be predicted. And our committee will vote whether that market needs to be slashed, in which case that liquidity provider will lose their 1,000 ZTG. If your market is a fair market and it doesn't get deleted, you won't lose your 1,000 ZTG and it'll be returned to you after the market. So that's your cost breakdown, which is why we need 1,400 ZTG, including the minor fees there, to deploy a permissionless market on Zeitgeist. If you haven't done any of this correctly, then you won't have the option to create the market. Now, you could also look at fees. High fees allows liquidity providers, so this little instruction here, high fees allows liquidity providers to collect more value from a given trade. However, the high fees will reduce market participants, so you want to keep that in mind. I'm going to keep it at 1%, which is an automated selection from our team, and I agree that is the best way forward. So let's just have a quick go through here. 2020 Cricket WC, who will win the 2022 Men's T20 Cricket World Cup, Sports and Cricket, end date 8th of November, 11:59 p.m.
Australia, South Africa, India, West Indies, England, Pakistan, New Zealand, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Alice, all those correct. Oz, ZA in, CWC, ZA in, WI in, CWC, PAC, CWC, Ben, CWC 3, CWC, CWC.
Very happy with those. Very happy with that. Is that my address? Double J. No. Yes, it looks correct. Happy. We'll just read through this again.
The prediction market gives an answer who will win the 2022 ICC Men's T20 Cricket World Cup. The market will end right before the semi-final stage, so as to give more opportunity for predictions. The article shall source the answer from www.espncricinfo.com after the T20 CWC final completes. In the higher event, the trade is shared by two parties. The outcome other shall be deemed as a winning token.
It is permissionless. We're deploying liquidity, and we're deploying a further 100 ZTG into the pool as the counter pair, and we're going to create the market. Let's sign this transaction, guys, and let's get this done. How exciting. Approve. It's broadcasting the transaction. This one could take a little bit longer. The market is live. How fast was that? That is the Polkadot blockchain for you, the Polkadot ecosystem. Shout out again to Alice and Bob talking about whether we call it Polkadot or Dotsama. That is the Polkadot technology and the substrate technology for you, keeping things efficient. That's a speedy blockchain. Right, it's now loading up. The market is open for trading. There we go. If you want to buy, sell some tokens, go ahead. If you want to hit the home page, let's have a look if it's there. We'll hit sports. Let it load up. And there it is. The prediction at the moment is Australia because that was the first outcome token I created. And that's it, guys. I've created a market. How simple was that? In not even 10 minutes, I've created my own prediction market on the Zeitgeist application. Anyone can do it. You need a little bit of ZTG. That's all you need. And if you want to deploy less liquidity, you could even make it an advised market where our team could draw in liquidity from certain liquidity providers. But if you have some cash to spend, which is not a lot, right? 1,400 ZTG currently is not a lot of money. And remember, the more liquidity you deploy, the more active the market may be. But look at that. We can now start getting insights into who the Zeitgeist participants think will win the Cricket World Cup in November. And I know there are a lot of cricket fans who are interested in Zeitgeist, who are aware of the Zeitgeist application. So I think we're going to get some pretty good outcomes here. So that's it. That's how you create a prediction on the Zeitgeist application. We'll give you more details in future videos. Take it easy, guys. Cheers.